What is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Welcome back to the channel. Wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on right now, what I think we could potentially do. I still am more on the bullish side, like I talked about in the last video. There were a couple, we'll talk about on Ethereum, a couple of little bearish signs that hopefully we will dodge those bearish bullets if all goes well. We're going to talk about CRO too. Man, that's been a nice jump there. And here's kind of the latest trade in Ethereum. Right here, as you can see, the Chainlink trade doing pretty good too. And then up $1,900. So hopefully we go up to, first take profit here. That was a trade I gave in advance in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord. That's the first link down below for that with stop loss, entry point, take profits. It's mainly all swing trades that I do. Nightshade is in there too. He does a mix of different stuff, and then KMac as well. A lot of really good analysts in there, a lot of really good people in there. We do the live chats too. I try to do it, at least once a week if I can, and we have some good discussions with you guys. So check it out if you're interested. If you want one free month in there, if you check out the links down below. BYDFI and BloFin are the best two exchanges with no KYC that I personally use. Doing a 10K giveaway for BYDFI with Bitcoin. 13 days. They extended this. It's going on for another 2 weeks. So basically, for trading volume, you can get these certain amounts of Bitcoin bonus, and then BloFin, it's 100K deposit and trade rewards for a certain type of bonus. Both of these, only with my link, are 20% off your fees for life. And if you sign up, deposit at least $100 and open a support ticket in the Discord with your UID or your email, we'll give you one free month in there. So check it out if you guys are interested. Now, let's get into the analysis here. Bitcoin, I think, as long as we can hold, 112, we got a nice jump kind of off of this big point here. You should be okay. Bitcoin, we just want this to be kind of sideways, at least sideways bullish, and then ETH could kind of steal the show, and then altcoins, things of that nature could kind of steal the show. I'll talk to you guys in a second more about what I think, some altcoins can do. But, this is looking pretty good on the daily, I guess. It's not looking like the best possible thing in the world, but, above average, gap to RSI is curving upward, deep anchor wave. You should be able to kind of recover here, I would hope, into the end of the month. That's what I would really hope for. But again, Bitcoin, it's not something we need to, go crazy. This could, you could argue it's a little bit of head and shoulder, reverse head and shoulder situation, maybe up to 116. Now, let's get into the thing more people care about, Ethereum. 4-day, your money flow isn't even in the green yet, which means that, that would be the more signal that we can get to, 7,300, 11K, those areas that people talk about. I think if you can get up to 7,000, above 7,000 at some point in October, you just might be able to get up to 10 or 11K by end of year. You just might. Money flow still looks pretty good in the weekly. I mean, the big thing here that, I'm planning on DCing out from October to December, but if you want more of just a big sell signal, it's probably going to be like this 3-week red dot. When that starts to print or get close to confirming, it's probably going to be that, just based on history being a potential, kind of sell signal, market cycle top. But remember, there's always curveballs and other things that, sometimes it's that easy, sometimes it's not. Now, you had, I believe, 7-hour confirmed blood diamond. It's not, like, it's kind of neutral. I mean, I would say it's more bearish on some of these time frames, let's be real. But I'm more on the optimistic path for some reason, although I am, some looking at this does make me look a little bit nervous with the long right here. But I do think, you might be able to pull through on some of these trigger waves and come up a bit more. It is, this is when Asian markets are open. This is middle of the night for, lower trading volume for Western markets. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It is a little bit concerning. I wish I could be a little bit more. Hopefully this doesn't confirm in 2 hours. It might confirm in that 8-hour. But if you get this, then that kind of nullifies, blood diamond and all that, new trigger wave in the 5 hours. So be a little careful. I probably would wait to get this trigger wave in the 5 hour to try to long up to, 5,300. I mean, here's kind of been my educated guess, for the last, couple weeks here into end of month, early September, up to 5,300, then probably like a 25% drop down, maybe 3,900. Good way to, just wreck both sides here. 25% down, and then into way more extended, probably October or whatever, way more extended, up to 7,000, then hopefully into end of year, 10 or 11K. I do think Bitcoin will peak in October, but I think it could be like 2017 into 2018, where a lot of alts may peak about a month, 2 months later. So that's, that's what we would say here. Another thought, a lot of people, before we get into CRO, I just wanted to, another thought I just had that I want to like tell you guys. Polygon could potentially jump up, or no, on all the like ETH ETF ones, and I know a lot of dumb money is buying, the ETH. I'm not saying it's like bad, not ETH ETFs, but like the ones that are trying to do what MicroStrategy did. We already know what happened with MicroStrategy, so part of me kind of feels like that if it does turn out like MicroStrategy, price was already factored in with this. Not to say you can't, go higher. This does look like it may go higher, especially if ETH goes up, but remember, the sequel is always worse than the original. So, I wouldn't put everything that you would put into ETH into this. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe, there's much bigger gains to be made, but we already are kind of price factoring in what happened with MicroStrategy in terms of Bitcoin. So I have a feeling the sequel will not be as good as the original. Just keep that in mind. So yeah, let's get into CRO because of the Trump stuff that jumped up a lot. And man, 30 down to 35 cents. You're hitting a big area. It probably will consolidate at least for a little bit. And then, I would hope, you're not even in the green yet on that weekly. I would hope in 10 to year, potentially a double, 70 cents. I don't know if you're going to make a full new all-time high. I mean, if things get really good, you're at $11 billion market cap. If you could get up to $30 billion market cap, that would be about a, 3x from here. You'd be looking at, over a dollar a bit, kind of these areas for a new all-time high. Maybe, just maybe, $1.57. I wouldn't sell this yet. Obviously not financial advice. Probably at least the 3-week I would be looking at, or the standard DCA out from October to December. I'm looking at this has become one of my bigger altcoin holdings because of how well it's done. I was getting into this, I believe, end of 23. Kind of these areas over here, and this has been a 500% incline for me. Now, obviously, Bitcoin's probably done. I don't know if Bitcoin in that amount. Well, since the bear market low, Bitcoin's done better. Since this area over here, or since here's Bitcoin's done better. But I mean, that's potentially what we're kind of looking at there. So I think you could see a lot more potential momentum here, and that's not the right chart I want to look at. If it can't outperform ETH, what's the point? But this is making higher lows against ETH, and I think this may be able to jump up to some of these areas against ETH. So I am still pretty bullish on crypto.com, although short term you may see pullback or something. ETH versus Bitcoin, this is probably not too much to say about this. It probably will continue forward, probably at least to 0.055 into the next few months, maybe even sooner than that. We'll see. Oldies but goodies, Solana, this is one potential I could see if things get, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's too optimistic to think you're going to jump all the way to 260 by the end of this month, early next month, but there are some good signs on this, and I do think you should be able to get back to 260 relatively soon. Sol ETH is showing a little bit of, I think Pentoshi posted about this on Twitter too, showing a little bit of strength here. I mean, the last time you saw this was a big rally upward. I could see this into end of year coming back up to these highs or something, outperforming ETH by 100% or something, just based on previous cycles. So I think Sol is, a pretty good investment right now. Chainlink as well, you saw me with the long on Chainlink that I've been in for a long time. This has got a really good shot of making all-time highs. I mean, Sol does too, obviously, but this, you're only down, okay, you're still down, when you zoom out, it's bad, but you're still down, 50% from all-time highs, but I think you got a good shot, into end of year, next few months, jumping up higher here. Probably the next 3 week, that's where I would get more, I would stay bullish probably until that 3 week looks like it's printing that red dot or about to print that red dot. That's what I'd be looking at for Chainlink. But this is a really good coin, I think. Chainlink versus ETH looks great too. So I mean, safe coins to say you're somebody, and this is probably less than 1% of people. Say you're somebody who is really disciplined. You mainly just hold Bitcoin, Ethereum right now, or whatever. You're thinking of diversifying into a few all. It's not financial advice, but the safer ones, Sol, Chainlink, those would be two pretty safe ones. Crypto.com, I don't know if I'd want to chase, but after you've been up so much, but I think you got a good shot there too. Cardano, I think we'll see some of the light soon, hopefully, potentially jumping up a little bit more. I think he should be, if ETH can make it, get up to 5,300, this should easily be above $1, and then from there, hopefully up to, you know, 225, something of that nature, I think is definitely doable there. And ETH, it probably will come down a little bit more against ETH, but hopefully you kind of, there's different views on this. There's some smart people that are telling you it's going to go all the way back here or whatever, you know, all the way back down to these lows. I don't know. You know, it doesn't look as good as Chainlink versus ETH, so Chainlink may steal the day. VWAP coming up though, so I think there's some potential. Overall, when you look at kind of total 3 minus Tether, you know, most of the altcoins minus Tether, you know, versus Ethereum, hitting a huge point right here. So, I mean, you're not getting the green dots yet, but you're getting close to it. Yeah, you're getting close to it. Right there. And, you know, that potential jump up. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for a jump there. And, you know, getting that altcoin season. I mean, I don't know, your average altcoin outperforming ETH by 100%. I think it's doable. You know, if ETH gets, you know, from here, let's say ETH gets a double, and then a lot of altcoins do a 3 or 4x. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. You know, maybe I'm being too optimistic. But a lot of them can do a 3 or 4x. I just want to look back at, you know, Cardano for a second, because, you know, that's one that's been a lot, you know, really lackluster. But what's a 3 or 4x on this? I mean, if you can get up to $3, you know, that would be your old all-time high. That would be a 3x. Can your average altcoin do that? I think with the Fed pivot and all that, there's some potential there. There's definitely some potential. Now, the last thing I want to show you guys, you know, 2 last things I want to show you: crypto fear and greed. This is neutral to almost in the fear area. This is pretty good for continuation. I do think that once you get into extreme greed, you probably won't see that until October, but that would be the place to at least start to scale out. And the other thing I wanted to show you, damn, I forgot what it was. It was something cool. Oh, yeah. Fed, based on the Fed. And based on the Fed here. So the last time when the Fed started to pause after the Fed rate cuts led into our early 2025 correction, when they started to pause, which I believe was in December or January of, you know, December of last year or January of this year. Now, September is pretty much a done deal for a rate cut. October could be a pause. Now, this is where it gets tricky. If this is a pause, if it's like last time, that may mark the end. That may mark the cycle top at the end of October. Now, if October is a cut as well, which it could be, we don't know, then December may mark the top if December ends up being a pause. Now, this is the odds right here. They're different on Polymarket. Now, the odds on Polymarket would tell you that, I just want to look at here what the odds are. So it's a little bit different here. This is where people are really putting their money on the line. So for October, slight favorite for the other cut. And then maybe December, if you see a pause, that could mark the kind of the end of the bull run. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just based on what happened kind of last time before the last correction. So we'll see what happens, guys. Smash the like button. Check out the links down below for the exchanges if you guys are interested in trading. A lot of really good opportunities there that are not going to last forever. And I'll see you guys soon in the Discord. See you soon, guys. Goodbye.